Hello, beautifuls and beloveds. Thank you for joining. This is more for you than for me. So this is going to be called Control Mechanism, Part 1. I hope there aren't a lot of different parts to this. I hope it's just one. But let's just call it Part 1. What is a control mechanism? A control mechanism, if you think about it, is a valve of sorts. You have a heart valve and the blood flows through, and this controls it from passing through or not. And in life, when people do this to other people, it can be seen as obstruction, interference, and it can cause a lot of harm. Reasons why people do this, well, they want control, or they want money that controlling that person or that entity will give and bring to them. I have a dance company. I've seen people try to control us, try to use our festival, our product, me, as their commodity without me ever agreeing to it, you know, behind the scenes type of thing. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that I invested money into this. I'm pretty sure that I paid for this. I'm pretty sure I suffered and struggled to have this. You have no right to do quid pro quo, right? Or to barter my property. Period. I didn't agree to it. You show me a document. You ain't gonna find one, and if you do, that's a forgery, so that's another issue. I'm not talking about saying, hey, send over some people, you know, we're looking for applicants for our festival. No, because we put that out to everybody. But if somebody controls who gets to know about it, or if we pay for a service, and, you know, just hypothetically, and it doesn't get delivered to anybody but maybe who they choose, so their homies or whatever get into our festival, you know, after a while you start seeing a pattern. So that's a control mechanism, and it's the law does not look kindly upon stuff like that. So let's look at one aspect. That's one aspect of a control mechanism. But let's look at, this is a fun one for me because I actually know quite a bit about this. Okay, this is a star. Fame. Let's just see this as fame, okay? Or a famous person. What is that? It's ego stroking, everybody knows you, and you become a commodity, right? This is a very, very, very powerful place to be. Now, I'm going to speak fact right here. And I'm going to bounce around and use hypothetics too, but facts. There are certain aspects behind a famous person. Everybody knows this, but I'm just going to say. We have publicists, we have agents, we have assistants, you have press secretaries, press peeps who speak on your behalf, and this could also be your social media, whatever that voice is that gets you out into the public. And this all kind of, you know, this kind of overlaps this. And the publicist can also be a press secretary, or they can be completely separate. But this is what gets you as a commodity out there. They help market you. Sometimes they work together, sometimes they fight. Fact. And, you know, it's fine if everybody's hearts are in the right place, you know, because everybody gets their percentage. You know, they usually get 10%. Publicists, you can negotiate. Sometimes they'll get 10 to 15. You know, assistants, they don't get a percentage. You usually pay them hourly. Oh, there could be security guards too, which I've had to do many times. Yeah, it's gotten that interesting. So there's all this. And then you, the viewing, adulating public, is it adulating public, think that this all equates to. Right? We think. Let me tell you something. All of this one of the biggest scams out there. You don't get this because you're so talented. Oh, some are. Or so beautiful. Oh, and some are. You got to go through something called a hazing. Well, call it what you want. They do this. Don't we do this to make sure that we're hanging out with the people that either make us look good, make us feel good, or that we can tolerate? I like to see who I like to be around because what I can give and what I can learn, and also, yeah, what I can not take but get back too, because there has to be some reciprocity. And this is the reciprocal thing right here, a percentage. Right? Following me so far? Now, with this fame, this is very possible. Because look at all of the, here's another I word to help you remember. I think I'm spelling that right. Lot of influence. Look, what access do they have? Oh, print, yeah. There's more, but you get the idea, right? TV, radio, print. And it all equates to a voice, a speaking voice, a presence. I use dance as my voice, I use my drawing as a voice, my artwork, all of that, right? That's your voice, that's your presentation, that's your marketing, how you want to be seen. Now, this is where it gets a little dicey and interesting. What if you want to be like super ultra famous? They look for that. They prey upon the people who are desperate enough to want that. And it's a sad thing because those people have no lives. You know why? Not only do I have friends, and not only do I work in the industry and know this firsthand, but look guys, you've got to understand something. This is pure hell. It's an illusion. Here's why. You're not going to find a document that says, hey, let's harass this one person. That's not the document that's going to be found. What ends up happening? Okay, let's say you want to hypothetically control this person because too much influence. What if they just start getting a brain for themselves and want to actually speak up on something? Well, they're going to have been, they will have been vetted, meaning controlled, meaning this is your script, you're an actor, do your job. Get out there and say what I want you to say. They get paid for it, you know. And they say it's their passion for something. Things have changed. So, you know, I worked for Mr. Spelling. He was the top. Whatever I saw, that was that. Right up here, okay, for the time. Pretty intense stuff. So, like I said, I got one heck of an education. I learned what I didn't want to do. I learned what to do and what not to do as well. I don't have an asking price because I don't do this garbage. I don't like it. It's bad. It rots the human soul. So, you know, the people who've been watching me, listening to me, they know that. It's like, where's the bargaining tool? How do we dangle that carrot and how do we have her latch on? They know I'm very talented. This is not prepared. People have commented to me, wow, you must sit down and really write all this stuff out. And it's like, I think about this stuff a lot, you know, and I told you I write my little probability tables and all of that. How I'm going to present it when I do these videos is completely off the cuff. And I let you know, I say, hey, I'm going to read something as I'm squinting or enlarging it so I can actually read it. But this is all a control mechanism, people. So how do you do that? Okay, hypothetically, if you want to control somebody who is a superstar, or even a small one, it doesn't matter. How do you do it? Well, they just don't become superstars overnight, and, you know, come on. I'm not saying it never happened, but what is the secret behind that? Well, first of all, you have to have all of these people that I showed you behind them, marketing them a certain way, and it's decided. It's just one big publicity stunt. Everything. Who they married, why they don't want to stay married anymore, prearranged marriages. This is all, it's a scam. It's a publicity stunt. You don't believe me? Look, just look. Read everything. Remember when Lucy and Desi, the Ricardos and the Mertzes went to Hollywood, right? They were doing publicity stunts to promote Ricky Ricardo's career. That was nice little fluffy stuff that didn't hurt anybody that I know of, and that's different. But when it starts interfering with reality and things have gotten a little too much like what's real and what's fantasy, and it just becomes like this, that's when you gotta say, okay, wait a minute. Why am I saying this? Because I have seen and heard my stuff. It's I didn't watch TV or movies for a long time. I didn't care. God bless everybody. Thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for doing your best. You're great. You're talented. You know, so nothing like that. I'm not against these people. It wasn't bitterness or anything. I was doing my own stuff. I was also sick, fighting for my life, you know, a little busy. And so I didn't really watch too much at that time. Before all this, that's all I did. I mean, I renamed my baby brother after Aaron Spelling. That's why his name's Aaron. Everybody knows that. I don't care, you know. A couple years later, no joke, as a teenager, I went to go work for the guy. Yeah, pretty impressive. I'm impressed looking at myself as if I were looking at my daughter or as a younger sibling or something. So how did I do that? I don't know. So, like I said, I do know stuff. And, okay, so you got these publicity stunts. And let's just say you need to control that person. Let's say you really want to get some, hypothetically, I'm not going to use a real example. Hypothetically, you are a production company and you're making a film and you have two co-stars. It could be male, female, or two females, two males, and they have a love relationship on screen. Well, isn't that kind of cool if they have one off screen? How many times have you watched your favorite TV show and you wanted those characters to intermingle and really get together because they look so cute on TV or the big screen? Let's face it, we're suckers for romance. So let's actually do it. That's a brilliant idea. There's something called a signed document, right? I am going to sign, it's a release image and all of this. And you know, from my history that I've made public, I won't say who, but I had an unfortunate circumstance where my agent's like, you know, just sign this, leave it blank, and we'll take care of it for you. So you trust them. We've had to, like, let a lot of production companies and a lot of entities know that that was circulating and it's null and void. And thank you guys for listening. And they used it, well, illegally, because it was only meant for certain things. You know, I started seeing my portions of my face from my pictures, my headshots being cropped and morphed. You know, what if they made it on Conan O'Brien's show? And I'm like, wait, I never signed up for this. Not that at least I hope it wasn't used for that, but we were seeing it as thumbnails on search engines to highlight, you know, clickbait stories. And I'm like, I never signed up for that. And I could tell by the angle, I know my face. we should all know our faces. My husband, my son, my family, and they're like, wait, this looks like, no, it's not, wait. And then we started playing around because we started seeing things and we started morphing. We didn't use it for selling or to distribute, but we wanted to see how is this done. And we were able to recreate those little thumbnails by using other people's faces that we thought, oh, this looks like this person. I know a lot of people. And sure enough, and I'm like, okay. And it took a while to track down, but you know, so what if these people also do these things and sign in trust, thinking, or out of trust, thinking that, okay, you've got my back. Why wouldn't you? I didn't do anything wrong to you. You seem like a nice person. Know thy enemy. So I'm like, that's really kind of bad. So we started to research this whole thing, and during my research and my husband's research, attorney's research, all of that, I started, you know, doing my formulas and tables, trying to figure out, really, this is all mathematical. It's not an emotional, oh my God, this is how I feel about it, this is what I think. No, it was all factual mathematics, really, and logics and deduction. And then actually finding the truth. What in the world was I saying? Okay, so you want to control that person. You put them in a relationship. And look, it needs to kind of be a little authentic. So they will entice, instigate it, try to make it happen. So maybe you have somebody who's working for that corporation too, and they were told, hey, you know what, I think these guys would be really well matched. Why don't you set them up on a blind date or something before they even do those roles to get just some of the sparks flying. I'm just saying, hypothetically. So then they actually, a gaffer, a grip or somebody says, you know, I got this really hot actress girl and she's up and coming and she's really beautiful, you know, go, why don't you, you know, and it's a hit or miss thing. Like I said, you're not going to find a document that says you're under contract to marry this person, or who knows, wouldn't that be terrible if there really was? You know, so they try to instigate, influence these things to happen. It might not work the first time. It might work the second or third time. But you, as a producer wanting to make a film, you're saying, okay, who will fulfill those roles in real life and on the screen? And you know, you have to put out a lot, and it does work sometimes. And when it does, you know, we, the public, I'm part of both worlds. This is what's so weird. You know? Okay. So how do you know for sure it's going to work? You don't. But you can influence it. Or there's sometimes they really say, hey, you know what, go out with her, she likes you. Maybe she really doesn't, but that's how you instigate it. See what I mean? And every woman is very turned on whenever you have your leading man want you. Just this hypothetical, pretty tame example from what I've seen. Or apart from what I've actually seen. Okay, so that's one little thing. You know, God forbid, this is what I'm concerned about. Remember how I said I felt like somebody was putting people in my circle of influence to influence? God forbid you have any entity. So hopefully this isn't happening, but maybe you guys know more than I do. And that person marries their co-star, and one of those worked for a corporation who knows that that one person is very valuable with their rights, or maybe that corporation really wants to inherit their likeness or image, so they put their person to partner, and it could be several until it finally kicks off. And then that person is gone. Could have authentically died, let's hope. let's hope nobody dies, but you know what I mean? We don't want people getting axed off just for the sake of inheriting something that's been done before. So then that person, did they really love that person that they were in a relationship, married to? Oh my God, I would hope so. I would hope it was very tragic. But what if they were just put in there by the corporation so they would inherit the rights to all of that estate, you know, so they wouldn't have to pay residuals and royalties constantly. Just here, we'll sign it away. Make a donation, you know, sign over your residuals to us. And, you know, I get that in the mail all the time. I'm not saying that this is what's going on, but, you know, you got to start thinking after a while. You start seeing things, you start questioning things, right? Hypothetics. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting, you know, a concept. Maybe I will form a formal thesis, and maybe I'll find evidence. Oh my God. But I'm just saying, this is how it starts. But that would be one control mechanism, wouldn't it be? Fear control mech. Right? And you control relationships. And this is all part of the vetting system. One is going to keep the other in check to make sure that they don't go on a talk show and say something that was not okayed. Now let's talk about that for a second. I know for a fact that anybody who's doing a talk show, they have to get clearance in a sense for the press junket. What to say and what not to say about the project. I've been a producer, I've been an actor, I've been a director, and as a producer, I would want my product presented correctly. So, you show and you teach people in a public relations meeting, consult, and you get trained. How do you want to look on camera? How do you want to present it? What is your persona as an actress off screen presenting this piece that you just did? Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Nothing at all, as long as that's what it's used for, of course. But here's the thing. When I start hearing my words on interviews, I know exactly where to look and where it comes from. I don't think they realized that I was the Noelle who worked for Aaron Spelling, who was a genius screenwriter when she was a teenager, and all these connections. My last name's changed several times, depending on who, I hate doing this, but owned me, in a sense. I'm being a little sarcastic, you know, a little snarky with that. It was who loved me, actually. That's really what it was. Who loved me at the time. You have your birth name, adoptive name, another adoptive name, a professional name, a married name, you know, so there's a few, and I just don't think they realize. It's like, oh, again, we picked from the same basket. Yes, makes me mad. Okay, stop picking from my basket. Jeez, pay me, for crying out loud, and not 10 cents. I get paid at least $1,000 for an hour sitting down. You want me to train you? I'll train you. But I'm the performer right now. I don't have an interest in training anybody. Maybe I'll change my mind. I have the prerogative to do so. Okay, so control mechanism. That's another one that I just mentioned. So press, prep. And there's a whole bunch of things that goes with that. Whatever. Okay, so say if you just start getting out of line. You know, you did one film and you were up for a second one. And maybe you inadvertently got out of line. You didn't know what the heck you did wrong. You were just being yourself. I've done this before and I didn't even realize that it was bad to do. Like, wait, what? Because they try not to be so obvious and say, look, we don't want you saying this, this, and this, and this, and this. They just get really nasty and mean and just, you know, start taking things away from you. I was like, wait, you do know that I was in an accident and we didn't just cancel our festival just for the hell of it. We didn't have money. We couldn't hire people. This year we have extra people. because, you know, we learn. You know, who thinks that they're going to get in two catastrophic accidents, one after the other, and almost die? I mean, you don't plan for that. But now we do. You know, and it's like, wait, so what, you're punishing me for 2 years and I can't have my festival? Or, you know, what exactly? We have our festival right now, I'm just saying. You know, but there's been other things like that, but I'm using, you know, examples and hypothetical examples that could happen, but that's what they do. And I know this because, like I said, I was in front and behind the camera. I did it all, and I still do it. Not currently because of this stupid accident thing, but at least within the last 2 years before the accident. Okay. Relationships, press. Yeah. Okay. So they create leverage. At first, they'll seem like angels of light, and they will give you one thing. They have to. That is your dangling carrot. But they know they can't do that to me because I get pissed off. It's insulting. Leverage. That you gotta have leverage before you can take something away, right? And it equals to taking away. Pretty brilliant stuff. Okay, right? Oh, I'm not saying to do this. I can't stand people who do this. It's just really evil. My dancers, if you haven't worked since, what was it, last year sometime, it's not because we didn't like you. We just, I wasn't doing much of anything. You know, accident. Look at our social media. It's not like it's a lie or anything. You want the police reports, you want to look at my x-rays, it's pretty bad. And nobody's saying that we're lying. It's just that people can be real snarky. It's like, oh, you almost died and you can't really move right now? Well, you still better do that festival, you better find a way. It's like, no, actually, when you have a third of your company decimated, what's gonna happen? Nothing. We have to take care of each other. We're like real loving people. Oh, they hate that. Leverage, takeaway. What are some other things? There's really some really insidious ones. Here's something interesting. You are assigned, or things are assigned to you. Good and bad. Here's something I always wondered. I know what it's like to be stalked, and it's really, oh God, it's really bad. I don't like it, obviously. You start to get desensitized to it, though, after a while, because you can see it for what it is, and you can predict what they do. There's only so much they can do, and you can come to expect it, and you take precautions, and then you start laughing every time you catch them in the act because you have your camera hidden. You know, entertain yourself. Might as well enjoy the ride if you gotta go through hell, right? Yeah, you get things assigned to you. Let's talk a hypothetical instance. So, you want to inflict, to control, let me put it at the top of here. This is what happens. Psychological harm in some way. You must control the psyche in order to control the mechanism. You must control the person's psyche. And most people think that artists, actors, and they're easy to control because they're very emotional, very expressive, weird, and I mean weird in a good way, because I'm also an artist, so I know I'm weird. Who isn't? But, you know, that it's, I'm not saying it as a, what do you call it, I can't think right now. Shoot, it's right at the top of my tongue. I hate when that happens. Do you ever have that happen to you? You have the word right there. I can't think of it right now. But, you know, when somebody puts a persona on you or predicts how you're going to act, why can't I think of this? This is horrible. Whatever. Oh my God, that's gonna bother me now. I hate when I have a word, especially a newer word. I'm like, I can't remember it now. I like to challenge myself and read dictionaries and play Scrabble. And it was a really good word. Now I can't remember it.